Last Thanksgiving, during dinner at my future mother-in-law Deborah's house in Houston, she made an outrageous declaration. With a laugh, she casually told me, "I canceled your wedding venue, now you'll have to do it my way." I thought it was just a joke, until I called the venue and heard the shocking truth. What happened next left her absolutely furious. Deborah, my future mother-in-law, had always been a bit overbearing, but I never expected her to go this far. Matt, my fiancé, and I had been engaged for about 8 months and had finally secured the perfect venue for our wedding, an enchanting estate just outside of Austin, with sprawling hills, towering oak trees, and twinkling fairy lights. It was a stretch for our budget, but we had saved for it, and it was everything we had dreamed of. Deborah, on the other hand, had her own plans. Ever since our engagement, she'd made it her mission to influence every aspect of the wedding, from the guest list to the catering and even my wedding dress. She had suggestions, no, demands, for what she thought was best. At first, I thought she was just excited, but the more we planned, the more I realized that she wasn't offering help, she was trying to take over. The final straw came at Thanksgiving dinner. We were halfway through our meal when Deborah, wine glass in hand, leaned back in her chair with a smug look on her face. She then casually said, "I hope you didn't get too attached to that wedding venue," and with a wicked grin added, "I canceled it, now you have to do it my way." The table fell silent. I stared at her, unable to comprehend what I had just heard. Cancelled? No way. This was our wedding, our money, our choice. I turned to Matt, sitting beside me, and saw his stiffened posture, his jaw clenched in shock. "You're joking, right?" I asked, my voice shaking. Deborah simply took another sip of her wine, that same smug look on her face. "Oh, sweetie, it's for the best. That venue was far too expensive. I found a lovely church instead, much more traditional, and for the reception, we can have it at my friend's country club. It'll be beautiful, trust me." I didn't trust her, not for a second. I quickly pulled out my phone and texted the venue manager. "Hi, this is my name. I just wanted to confirm that our wedding reservation is still set for date." Within moments, I received a reply, "I'm sorry, but your reservation was cancelled last week by a Deborah, last name. She claimed to be your wedding planner. The date has already been booked for another couple." My stomach dropped. She had actually done it. I looked up at Deborah, my face red with anger. "How dare you?" Deborah shrugged, unfazed. "I was doing you a favor. You'll see, this is for the best." Matt stood up so quickly that his chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Mom, what the hell is wrong with you?" Her smug expression faltered, clearly not expecting him to be so furious. "Oh, don't be so dramatic, Matthew," she said, rolling her eyes. "You'll thank me later." Matt laughed bitterly, the kind of laugh someone makes when they're on the edge of losing control. Then he pulled out his phone, making Deborah's face twist with suspicion. "What are you doing?" she demanded. Matt didn't answer, instead placing the phone to his ear. "Hey, Uncle Jack," he said, "Happy Thanksgiving. Listen, I need a favor." Now, Uncle Jack is a powerful attorney, someone who could make even the wealthiest individual squirm in a courtroom. Deborah's eyes widened in panic. "Matthew, stop, there's no need." "Yeah, so my mom just committed fraud," Matt said, his voice steady. "She impersonated my fiancé and cancelled our wedding venue without us knowing. Think you could look into that for us?" Deborah's face went pale. She let out a scream, a full-on shriek. "Matthew, stop this, you're overreacting." Matt, still on the phone, turned his back on her. "Oh, definitely, she impersonated us, lied to the venue, probably signed something under false pretenses. That's illegal, right?" "I was just trying to help," Deborah whined, her voice turning frantic. Matt finally faced her, his expression cold as ice. "No, you didn't help, you destroyed everything, and now you're going to fix it." For the first time in my life, I saw fear in Deborah's eyes. She had always been the one in control, but now she was losing her grip. "Matthew, honey," she said in a suddenly sweet tone, trying to calm him down, "let's not ruin Thanksgiving over this misunderstanding. We're family." Matt's eyes narrowed. "A misunderstanding? You cancelled our venue, impersonated us, and now we have no place to get married." Deborah's lips pressed into a tight line. I thought you'd understand. The venue was too extravagant, but this way, you'll have a beautiful, elegant wedding." I couldn't hold back any longer. "No, Deborah, this is about you getting the wedding you wanted. You couldn't stand that we were making our own decisions, so you took them from us." Deborah opened her mouth, but no words came out. She knew I was right. and she had no defense, but Matt wasn't finished yet. "Fix this," he said, his voice firm, "right now." Deborah's face twisted with frustration, but she didn't back down. "Matthew, be reasonable. The new venue is already arranged." "I don't care," Matt retorted. "You're going to call them and tell them the truth, and if our venue is booked, you're going to pay every penny to find us a new one that we choose." Deborah's hands clenched into fists. "And if I don't?" Matt didn't hesitate. "Then you're not invited to the wedding, and if you keep pushing, we'll go no contact." The room went silent. Even George, Deborah's husband, who had been quiet up until then, looked alarmed. "Now, son, let's not go that far." Matt cut him off. "No, Dad, this isn't just about the venue. This is years of Deborah pushing and controlling our lives. If she thinks she can walk all over us and we'll just accept it, she's mistaken." Deborah's face contorted between anger, disbelief, and something like fear. For the first time, her son was standing up to her, and it left her stunned. "Matthew," she said quietly, "I just wanted what's best for you." "No," Matt said, "you wanted what's best for you." The silence that followed was deafening. For once, Deborah was facing real consequences, and she didn't like it. Then, just when I thought she might give in, Deborah did something unexpected. She smirked, a slow, knowing grin creeping across her face. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, her voice dripping with condescension, "you think you've got all the power? That threatening to cut me off will make me cave?" She shook her head, still smirking. "You're forgetting something important." Matt raised an eyebrow. "And what's that?" Deborah leaned forward, her voice becoming sharp. "The money." A cold chill ran down my spine. I knew Deborah and George were wealthy, but Matt and I had always worked hard to stay independent. Still, I knew what she was hinting at. She turned her gaze on me, her smile widening. "You didn't think Matt paid for that venue on his own, did you?" My heart stopped. Matt's entire body went stiff. "What do you mean?" Deborah smirked. "I saw the contract. I know exactly how much it cost and where the deposit came from." I felt like the room was spinning. Matt had always told me he paid for the venue himself, using his savings. Deborah let out a soft, victorious chuckle. "I transferred that money into your account months ago. I saw the withdrawal. So technically, I paid for the venue, and if I paid for it, well, that means I have every right to decide where the wedding happens, don't I?" Matt's face drained of color. I was frozen, unable to breathe, because the hard truth hit me. Deborah wasn't wrong. She had played us all along. She had waited patiently, letting us think we were in control, until the moment she could pull the rug out from beneath us. I wanted to scream, but she just sat there, pleased with herself, as if she had won. Matt took a slow breath, his fists clenched at his sides, but his face was completely unreadable. That's when I realized this wasn't over, not by a long shot. He didn't say a word, just stared at Deborah, his expression cold and composed. The tension in the room was so thick it felt like we were suffocating. Deborah sat back, smug and satisfied, like a chess player who had just checkmated her opponent. She thought she had us trapped with no way out, but she had no idea what Matt was about to do. Without breaking his gaze, he smiled, not a friendly smile, but a cold, calculating one. "Interesting," Matt said, his voice disturbingly calm. "So, you're telling me you paid for the venue?" Deborah's smirk wavered for a second. "That's right." "And that means?" Matt cut her off, his voice sharp. "That means you committed fraud." Deborah blinked in surprise. "What?" she scoffed, but I could hear the crack in her voice. "Don't be ridiculous." "Oh, I'm not," Matt replied, tilting his head slightly. "If you paid for it, why was the contract in my name? Why did the confirmation go to our email? Why did the venue tell us it was cancelled by someone pretending to be us?" Deborah's face twitched. Matt leaned in a little closer. "Mom, did you wire me that money as a gift? Or did you claim to the venue that you had full control over the contract?" She shot a quick look at her husband, George, almost pleading for him to step in, but George just sat there, silent and shocked. "Because if you paid for it, that means I had full control over the contract," Matt continued. "And if that's true, you impersonated me and my fiancé, forged documents, and interfered with a legal contract. That's what? Identity fraud? Contract fraud? Maybe wire fraud, depending on how you transferred the money?" Deborah's mouth moved but no sound came out. I could almost see the moment she realized how badly she had messed up. Matt pulled out his phone. "Maybe Uncle Jack should look into this," he said calmly. "I'm sure he'd find it interesting." "Matthew," Deborah croaked, her voice raw. I didn't mean for this to get so out of hand. I was just trying to." Matt stood up abruptly. This was never about the wedding, he said, his voice sharp but calm. This was about you controlling me, controlling us. You couldn't accept that I was making my own decisions without your approval. Matthew, she whispered, shaking her head in denial. Please, no. He didn't flinch. I'm done. Then, he dropped the bombshell. We're moving up the wedding. I whipped my head around, shocked. Wait, what? Matt looked at me, his expression finally softening. We're getting married next month, he said, and it's going to be exactly how we wanted it. Deborah gasped. Next month? But there's no time. You'll never find a venue in time. You can't. Matt stared her down. Oh, we already have one. Deborah's face drained of color as it hit her. She wasn't invited. Matthew, she said, her voice panicked. You're being irrational. You need more time to plan. No, Matt interrupted, his voice firm. We don't need time. We just need to be away from you. I could see her trying to come up with a way to regain control, but Matt wasn't giving her an inch. He took my hand and said, let's go, and we left, walking out of Thanksgiving dinner right then and there, leaving Deborah sitting in her lavish dining room, her uneaten meal on the table, her mouth still agape in disbelief. She tried reaching out, calls, texts, even had George contact us, but Matt ignored it all. She had lost control, and now she knew it. The next day, the real payback. The following morning, Matt and I got to work. First, we called Uncle Jack. Matt explained everything, the impersonation, the fraud, the manipulation. Uncle Jack didn't hesitate. She committed fraud, he said bluntly. Do you want to press charges? Matt thought for a moment, then turned to me. I could tell he was considering the impact. No, he said finally, not yet. I understood why. He didn't want to escalate things with his own mother unless absolutely necessary, but we weren't going to let this go. Uncle Jack advised us to send Deborah a formal letter detailing her actions and making it clear that any future interference would result in legal action. And just like that, the power shifted. Deborah, for the first time, had no control over the situation. A wedding without her. With our decision made, we moved quickly, thanks to Uncle Jack's connections. We secured a new venue within days, a private vineyard in the Texas Hill Country, intimate, beautiful, and far more suited to us. The best part? It was available next month. We invited everyone, except Deborah. She found out, of course, likely through social media or a relative. The moment she realized she was no longer welcome, she went into a full meltdown. Voicemails, pleading texts, even showing up at Matt's office demanding entry. Everything she could do to worm her way back in. But Matt stood firm. If she shows up, I will have her removed, he told George. This is non-negotiable. George sighed, sounding defeated. She'll never forgive you for this. Matt chuckled. Good. The wedding day and final payback. Our wedding day was perfect. The vineyard was stunning. The food was amazing. And the atmosphere couldn't have been better. And best of all, no Deborah. I later found out that she had tried to gain access to the venue. She actually drove up, demanding entry, claiming she was the groom's mother. The security team turned her away twice. She even screamed at them, but the guards simply said, sorry, ma'am, you're not on the list. She sat in her car for an hour, hoping someone would change their mind. They didn't. While she was fuming in the parking lot, Matt and I were inside, celebrating with people who truly loved and supported us. The final blow. After the wedding, we went no contact, no more phone calls, no more visits, nothing. Deborah had been cut out of our lives for good. Holidays? She wasn't invited. Future grandkids? She'd never meet them. Family gatherings? She was no longer welcome. We heard from other relatives that she spent months crying about how ungrateful Matt was, how I had brainwashed him, how cruel we were to exclude her. But no one sided with her because they all knew what she had done. She had played a dangerous game and lost everything. The last message. A year later, she sent one final message, long, dramatic, full of self-pity, ending with, I hope one day you realize how much I loved you. Matt stared at it for a moment, then deleted it, and that was it. Deborah was gone from our lives, no apologies, no second chances. And we never looked back. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay stunned.